Alright, this is to just get fucking whatever going today because I am my own battery and I can really only feel myself. So, I don't know. I've been reading this book by Dita Avon Teese, Your Beauty Mark. It's pretty good. I wrote some notes on it. That's over there, and I don't feel like getting up over there to get it because I just sat down. I do want my coffee though, so I'm gonna go grab that. Coffee acquired. Not much else than that. I probably shouldn't be drinking this, but it's like, my sleep is really fucked. You know, I was, like, I'll be up most of the night and I'll sleep maybe 2 hours, and then I'll be up the rest of the day until about the next 2 hours, and then rinse and repeat. Yesterday it wasn't the greatest, but today isn't, like, today my head's not killing me with bullshit, so I can't say it's that bad right now, or even then, because I didn't do any, I mean, I ended up finally reading a bit, and that was good, but that wasn't till about 4 this morning or something. But it's a good book. I like it so far. I'm really trying to figure out how to turn my notes on Plato's Phaedo into some sort of thing, and I'm pretty sure, and I think I have a grasp on it, because with the bit I did for American Psycho, it's like it ends with "this is not an exit," and then there's I feel like I can work in a few different things with I think it'll probably be Neurotic Nihilism 5. I don't think I'm going to continue the 4 one for this because just doesn't feel great, but I think a lot of it can be gotten from this, because there's a lot of talk about opposites and how they feed into each other and sustain each other in Phaedo, and there's an interesting thing. So it's not duality, it's not Trinitarian, it's duality, it's Trinitarian, as well as a tetrad, as well as a pinnacle, because, you know, there's the whole, that's actually the chapter I'm on right now, I think, yeah, the pentagram, but yeah, Eliphas Levi, I think, is the next logical step from reading Phaedo's Plato, but we'll see where that goes. I mean, I've read it before, I just need whatever bit for this, and then, also a quick look through Beyond Good and Evil might do some good with that. But then I'm reading this really good one. It's Ovid's Metamorphoses. This is, it's a poem. It's a really long poem, but it's really fucking, like, I mean, just, like, the beginning of it, so it's kind of like the creation story, but I really like it because it's not the same as, like, you know, suddenly this god came out of nowhere. It kind of is, because it kind of goes into that, but it's like, so this is quoting from it directly. Before the earth and the sea and the all-encompassing heaven came into being, the whole of nature displayed but a single face, which men have called chaos, a crude, unstructured mass. And unquote. Anyway, yeah, I really like it because I like how Greek mythology always goes back to chaos, because realistically that is, you know, the state of things. I mean, as I talk, as I do this, you know, there's little electrons getting ripped from all the little atoms in my hands, and like if like even in this, if I like not even shaking it up, like the atoms aren't stagnant. It's very like they're on the earth. If there are stagnant atoms, there's something fundamentally wrong. It's not that we can't freeze atoms or cause them to slow down. Like if you it's basic chemistry, sort of. Like if you cool the atoms down, like they're gonna slow down, but they're not gonna stop completely, because we have the power to split them, but from what I understand, we don't have the power to completely freeze atoms, because in a sense that would be freezing time, I think, maybe, for us, because that would, like, freezing an atom would be freezing the subatomic particles holding everything together, which, it might be like that Brandon Sanderson book. Alcatraz versus Evil Librarians. There's, the forebearer of his name, Alcatraz the First, so Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians is a really funny story. So the world is controlled by autocratic librarians, literal librarians, like suppressing, the magical world that, like there's a whole continent missing, like hidden, and all this, like these crystal knights, and it's a really good story. I like it. It's the only Brandon Sanderson I've actually read, and and I know he's a renowned author, but I've only read Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, and that was a fucking amazing series. But anyway, it's I forget my point in that. Anyway, it's like that series, even though I forget exactly what I was talking about completely, but it's like Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. Oh, now I remember. So in that series, so basically so glasses, so there's Alcatraz, Smedry, and his family. All of his family have certain special talents, as they're called. His is notorious as it's breaking things. And, his grandfather's is arriving late. His father's is, I think it's forgetting things, if I remember correctly. He has an absent parent. Both his parents are absent. And it ends with his father getting brutally butchered. But, it's like, in that, he finds the tomb of his forebear using the name Alcatraz first, and the first one to hold the breaking talent, and in that bubble, time is completely gone. Because of the talent that his forebear had, that he also possesses, he quite literally breaks time. Like there is no time passing. Like it's like a mummified. Like the body is mummified, but so is like the entire area around it. It's very cinematic. It's a very nice. It's a very interesting visual. It's kind of like Get Smart almost, with the rooms where with the Dome of Silence, where Steve Carell's character is like, oh my god, I'm so happy. Like everything outside of it's like in the present moment, but if you go in there, like you're back in time's broken, like everything outside of it stops, or everything outside of it is still going, and you're the one in the past. It's an interesting thing, and it's kind of like I was like, there was once I was actually thinking about this. It's like, well, what is the fucking what about the chemistry of maybe ghosts? Because I'm not going to say that apparitions don't exist. I think they very well could. But, I'm like considering, well, a lot of the times it's at places where, like Gettysburg, people claim to see apparitions and spirits and like. And it's like, well, so naturally when you die, your body's going to release energy of some sort. I'm not going to say it's some sort of spiritual thing. But there's, like if the synapses in your brain fire negatively in a more negative way, like depressively, and all the stuff in your body, you know, gets negatively destroyed, like gets destroyed, you know, would that, like, I thought, you know, would it be a positive or a negative charge? And if it was, could going back into that area somehow, you know, reactivate whatever charge was left permeating in the air or residue in the surrounding area, and could some sort of thing, you know, come back and, like, you know, like, whatever it was, you know, the charge, I'm not great at chemistry. You know, like, the apparition appears because of the area being charged by whatever external molecules interacting. But I did research it, and I did do some math with it very badly, but I did, I checked it with both ChatGPT, and I asked a teacher that I used to have, and I also, there's a customer that I have that's a chemistry teacher, so I triple checked it with him, and there's no way that sort of chemistry would qualify to explain any sort of apparition. But, you know, it's an interesting thought experiment, to say the least. You know, I was kind of like, you know, maybe there is some sort of, like, chemistry to ghosts. Like, you know, I was like, why hasn't anyone thought about, like, why aren't people looking through chemistry? But it's hard to say whether that was simply well, maybe, or I was watching Breaking Bad, and I was very like, what could chemistry actually do? Because I failed chemistry in school the first year I took it, but I passed it the second year, and I understand it a lot better now. But it's kind of just like, maybe it could, maybe that could work, but no. It's really funny though. I did not understand chemistry in school at all, but now I understand it quite well. Not in like the, like, if you give me like a mathematical equation, I'm not gonna be able to do jack shit, really. I mean, I can do the fucking formula or whatever to determine, you know, the whatever it is, like, it's the one on top of the one, and then it's anyone, the chemistry people might know what I'm saying. I can do that math, but if you put words into it, I can do it. But as soon as it becomes just straight fucking numbers and straight up math, my mind doesn't want to compute to it. So that's just whatever it is. You know, like math, like, it's weird because I deleted the calculator off my phone though, and since then I've gotten so much better at just doing math. Like, you know, like, basic math's easy, but like stuff that, like, I would have to open my calculator real quick for, it's like, you know, ever since deleting it, it's like I don't need to do that. It's like, maybe it'll take me a quick second, but it's like, like, I don't know, there's something more to it. I guess I keep getting, maybe it's kind of part of that thing where I keep getting recommended, like, these sort of like, it's the same string of video on YouTube where it's like, you know, people like I got off my phone for 30 days and here's what happened. And it's like, yeah, but now you're on your phone posting a shit ton about how you're not on your phone and how great life is without your phone. Yet in every single one of these pictures and videos, you're constantly on your phone. I don't know, but it's kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, I don't believe that, because, you know, I've been in the moment, and it's like, there's not even a fucking thought to take out my phone in most instances, and it's kind of unfortunate, because it's like, I have a lot of, like, there's a lot of conversations I'd love to have recorded, but, like, I just, it was like, it was in the moment, and, like, I might have thought about it, but it's like, that's just gonna kill it, you know, because I understand social desirability bias, and if I start recording, a person's going to start acting differently according to how they want to be perceived, just in case if I do use it for something or whatever. Or it's just, you know, like, anyone, if they're on recording, just acts differently you know, and like, I guess I do secretly record people a lot, and I never do anything with it, but it's like, I do secretly record people a lot because it's like, it's just my own little archiving of shit. It's like, and it's like, I'll do it blatantly too, but for the most part, I do it, you know, in my own, like, because I have 2 phones now, it's a lot easier. I can just, you know, I have this one right here that I use for extra storage space, so I just put it in my pocket right here, because, you know, and then, you know, I can just go from there recording. And, you know, it kind of sucks because, you know, I used to have this idea. I guess it doesn't suck because that would have been so fucking... Maybe that would have been interesting, though. It could have also been the Audible equivalent of that Lewis Weird castration movie, where it's like, you know, just like, like, it's an interesting bit, but does it really need to go on for this long? You know, that sort of thing. But to each their own. You know, it's not like I haven't listened to the Might Is Right special some 37 times, and Radio Jihad some close-up number with that, which, you know, I almost was about to listen to Radio Jihad again the other day, but then it's like, you know, it's like, which part do I actually want to listen to? Because there's this 7-hour portion of it where it gets really interesting. And well, the history of that, need I say, is... Wait, I'll go grab the book. Alright, so this book, it can be found detailed in this book. And I should know, because I fucking helped make this book. You know. Anyway. Like, I helped make this book. That was fun to do. But yeah, I helped make that book. And anyone that wants to argue about the Satanic Temple can fucking fight me. I have the facts. Anyway, don't fight me. I'd rather not fight someone. I don't care. I don't want to do that. But, you know, metaphorically, I'll win that fight. Which is actually really funny, because I remember I contacted William Morrison of Skinny Puppy a bit prior to that, because I was asking about the Process Church, and, you know, I talked with, like, he just sent me that it's not even a documentary, it's basically just a propaganda film, the Speak of the Devil, the Inside Story, whatever, the Process Church. It's not a great film, it's basically fluff, like, you know, oh, Maury Terry made up a bunch of shit. Okay, then explain your fucking intelligence agency connections. You know, Timothy Wiley. You know, explain your eccentricities while never seeming to run out of money, Marianne and Robert. You know, and Robert de Grimston is still alive. You know. It's unfortunate that he doesn't take interviews, because I'd love to interview Robert de Grimston. That would be so fucking interesting. But he's also in his 90s, and he probably... I'm not sure how sharp his mind would be. But he was, like, you know, like, if you read The Process magazine, he was a really good writer. You know, he had a very unique flair. At least in that department for The Process. You know. But, yeah, just sort of, whatever. I'm curious, though, just because how things work out, what that Plato, Phaedo and stuff can turn into, just because it's, there's a lot of ideas that go around, and whether they get put onto paper is one thing or another, and, you know, I try to get them down. It just depends on how motivated I am to type it up after I write it down. Because, you know, like, if I write it down, why the fuck should I have to type it back up? Seriously. Riddle me this, Batman. But, yeah. I'm gonna draw 13 and try not to draw 31 on accident.